Hi, I'm Abby.
And I'm Paisley.
Welcome to the No Matter podcast, where our mom and dad will share about our full-time travel adventure. They give awesome tips about the best family vacation destinations, memory-making activities, and how to save while traveling.
They also have really cool guests to answer all your family travel questions. Be sure to follow us at nohomenomatter.com. Thanks for listening.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Ollie Kilvert. Ollie comes to us from the UK. He is a travel blogger, a travel blogging family with Here We Go Again. .blog. You can find out more information about him there. But Ollie Kilvert, welcome to the show.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, Neil.
Well, I'm looking forward to finding out where you've been on your journeys, what kind of experiences that you have had with your family. I love to talk about how families are traveling and experiencing the world and just everything that's out there for them. So before we get into all that, Ollie, tell us a little bit about yourself and your family.
Excellent. Yes. So we are the Here We Go Again blog, family travel blog. It's made up of my wife and I. So my wife is Ulla. And then we have two girls. There's Lily, who's nearly 4 this summer. And then there's Arabella, who's just turned 2. And there's also our dog, Holly, as well. So whenever we're going on adventures in the UK, we like to bring her along as well. But I guess we like to give a nice refreshing take on what it's like to travel as parents, like to give hints and tips. And then we support it with some really nice photography on our Instagram page and then blog. And now starting to get into a bit of video content as well, to share our experiences with all our followers.
Well, you know, it's very interesting looking at some of these Instagram pages, and some of the photos that these travel bloggers have out there are just, you know, quite remarkable. I think it definitely helps if you have an eye for photography and video. That's something that's in your background, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I used to work for a kind of a large retailer here in the UK, where, we had an in-house video production team. So certainly kind of through that experience, kind of got used to sort of handling a camera. But equally as well, my wife, Ulla, she's a very keen photographer. She's always looking to snap stuff. And actually, I guess how we got into this was she was taking loads of photos of the kids, whether it was even just on kind of day-to-day stuff. And then she was just realising she'd kind of getting those images, they were just being stored on the hard drives or wherever. They weren't actually seeing the light of day. I guess you know how it is with digital photography. So actually, that was one of the key catalysts for her starting the Instagram account, was to actually kind of get those pictures out there and to start sharing them. So that's how it really kind of actually got started.
Yeah, you know, that's pretty similar to our situation as well, where, you know, yes, we go on a few trips and we like to share the pictures on Facebook, and you always get, a great response. So, you know, trying to make a career out of this, or, you know, at least a side gig out of this, is interesting that you're able to do this. What kind of opened your eyes to say, you know, I think we can do this as, you know, a bit of a venture and, you know, make some money while we're doing it too?
Oh, good question. I mean, both Ulla and I, we've always quite enjoyed traveling. We've always had that kind of, I guess, that spirit for adventure. Certainly during our 20s, kind of, I've done some really cool trips. I've done stuff like, I don't know, driving from London to Mongolia, or travel with Asia, and travel with South America, worked a bit in the States and worked a bit in South Africa. And equally, actually, Ulla's worked kind of across Europe and in the States as well. So I guess we've been brought up with that sense of adventure. But yeah, that realization that we could actually make something a bit more of it, I guess. I mean, we haven't taken it. It's just been a nice opportunity. We've just been putting photos out there. we're relatively new in the whole kind of blogosphere, Instagram. Really, I mean, Ulla set up the accounts in January 2018, but it was only last summer, so around about June 2018, when she actually started posting the pictures. So it's not even properly, I mean, I guess officially it's a year old, but not until sort of the summertime. And it's just been such a great reaction on the account. I mean, we're up to, I think, sort of around about 14,000 followers on the Instagram account.
Yeah, it's amazing how so many people just like to engage. They're seeing these great pictures, they're having a look at you and your family, having fun, and it's almost like they're, trying to live through you and your experiences. But it's great that they do get engaged in that and want to share some of the life that you have. So what have been some of those most memorable experiences that you've had on your travels so far?
Most memorable experiences, I think last summer we spent a bit of time in the French Pyrenees.
Nice.
Really great parts of the world. I mean, have you been around there before? Have you?
I've been to Flaine in France on a skiing holiday, but I think that's more the Alps. I've been to Andorra in the Pyrenees.
Okay, yeah, Andorra, yeah, certainly. It's close to Andorra. Anyway, it's a great place to get to. Easy flight into Perpignan, and then half an hour you're in the mountains, and then 10 minutes you're by the coast. So it's a really great location, sort of Catalonia region. But we so one of the most memorable times was when we strapped both kids to our backs, kind of like Osprey backpacks, and went trekking up a massive mountain. And I mean, the views from the top were just stunning. But it was, relatively, it was a 2-3 hour hike up, and it was just amazing. And I don't think we'd have ever thought, we'd have had that kind of that opportunity or that drive to actually go climb a mountain and with 2 kids on your back.
Right. Well, I grew up in the Highlands of Scotland, and that was, I was surrounded by these mountains. I did a lot of hill walking while there. But is that what really appeals to you, is getting out in nature and just seeing those scenes, or do you like the city kind of atmosphere as well?
I mean, we like a bit of both, I think. I mean, we loved we went to Copenhagen last year, and that's an awesome city. It's a really child-friendly, plenty to do, lovely people, great sites to visit. So I absolutely loved Copenhagen. But yeah, I think sometimes when we finished a walk, or for instance, this last weekend, we were down on the Dorset coast in the UK, and we did a bit of walking. Actually, one walk in particular, we had our eldest, so Lily. So she's still 3 years old, so still needs a bit of encouragement. But by herself, she managed to scale a pretty big, I'd probably call it a hill, which, I mean, kind of blew us away, and was like, actually, we should do more of this walking malarkey, and actually make her try and climb some hills herself. Because I think it's rewarding for both us as parents, but equally so for her being just 3 years old, to see that she can actually accomplish like a big
great. I mean, little challenges like that really helps them grow. And when people think about traveling and having all these different experiences, most of our minds go to the faraway destinations. But just like you were talking about there, you can also have these experiences closer to home as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, we're not by any means full-time travelers. We both have day jobs, so that opportunity, we'll obviously jump at the opportunity to go and travel abroad, but equally so, at the end of the week, we'll always kind of be looking for kind of little kind of micro adventures or local adventures for kind of anything around us in the UK. So it's actually meant us, actually doing the blog has actually forced us to go, right, we are looking for content, but it's quite a nice excuse to go out and just see places where you probably never actually think of going. So yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that came into our mind as well. You know, I've been living in Georgia for the last 24 years. My wife is from here, but there's so much just in our state that we haven't seen. There's so many things to do that sometimes in your own backyard, you don't have to go far to have these journeys. And, you know, like you said as well, if you are putting content out there, you have to get out there to get some of these wonderful pictures and videos that people like so much.
Absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
So what have been some of the lessons that you've learned so far from traveling?
So let's think more about sort of, traveling abroad. I mean, I think you've got to have that degree of flexibility, especially if you're taking kids with you. You've got to appreciate that they've got to be able to adjust to their new environment. Being parents, you've got to, it's natural kind of parent instinct, that kind of, going with the flow, just not trying to heap too much pressure or try and have an itinerary which is kind of crazy, or it's like seeing 20 different sites in one day. But then, I guess it's more the practical stuff. So it's having the changing clothes, and having good bribes available. And actually, the one crucial bit of advice or things we've learned is doing a nice early start in the day. So I'm not a big fan of lions. My wife may disagree, but I'm always keen to kind of, if we're in a new destination, then let's get out straight out of the house, grab breakfast on the go, and start seeing a few things. And hopefully by 10 o'clock, when everyone else starts rolling in, that we've actually, covered some good ground. So nice early start.
I'm certainly like that myself. Like to get up and going. I think the best hours are your morning hours, and lying in seems such a waste. But tell me, Ollie, traveling with kids is different than traveling on your own or even as a couple. What have you learned, and what advice could you give some of our listeners about traveling with kids?
So traveling with kids, I don't know. Obviously, speaking as a dad, I always find myself being switched on. That I think, it's crucial to be, kind of looking out, kind of, being aware. But I think it's just that ability to kind of, you try and take everything in, but you kind of seeing what you can say. The other really good bit of advice is, now that the girls have their own seats on planes, and as there's 4 of us, it always leaves one spare seat. So as a dad, I'm always seeing how far I can push it in terms of when I'm selecting my seat on the airport or on the airplane, how far I can get away from them. But So just being flexible enough to kind of go with the flow.
And what kind of learning experience do you see from your kids going into different environments, maybe different countries as well? Do you see them really picking up, new things in the language as well as the customs of different places?
So with our kids, they're
still young.
They're still young. They're still kind of 2 and 3, so they're still quite fresh-faced. Because obviously so with Ulla, she's actually Polish, and myself being British, we're trying to kind of raise them in that kind of bilingual approach anyway. So half their family are Polish, and they do understand Polish, so that's quite important to us. But things. I do think. Just reiterating that point. Actually, the one which I mentioned earlier on with Lily climbing to the top of the hill. She got halfway up the hill, and you know how it is. They start to moan, they start to whine. Oh, I can't do it. I'm hot. My feet hurt. But we actually made sure she climbed to the top, because I think it's, I think as a good life lesson, I think you've got to, if you put your mind to something, you've got to really stick to it. And so always trying to encourage them to kind of really, push their back.
I think, my view of things is, as a parent, if you take the opportunity to achieve away from a child, you're actually doing them a disservice. So many parents will do everything for their children, but they don't give them these challenges that, like climbing that hill and having that sense of achievement. You learn more doing things like that than, being put on the back and carried to the top. You still get to see the view, but you haven't put the work in to get there,
Absolutely. Yeah.
So talk to me about how you are able to cover travel expenses, because one of the things that people think about all the time is, traveling is so expensive, especially with a family. How am I going to be able to afford it? What kind of things have you done to be able to, afford to travel, maybe more than the average person?
Yeah, I mean, we're slightly blighted by the fact that we love traveling, we love exploring. So, I mean, quite a lot of our trips are self-funded. Now that our audience is growing, it does lead ourselves into some kind of nice collaborations. So this past weekend when we were in Dorset, we were kind of fortunate enough to partner with a great British clothing brand, Jules, whereby they helped cover our travel expenses in return for some nice exposure for their kind of new range, new sort of spring range. I mean, we tend to find that that there's, I guess, two ways of approaching it, either with clothing brands or footwear brands, where we can show their sort of their garments in context, and obviously saves them from having to do sort of expensive photo shoots with kids.
Well, walk me through that process a little bit, because people, listening might not understand that there's an opportunity here if you have a following. How are you able to attract the attention of these different brands, and, what are they able to offer you to make it worth your while?
Okay, yeah. So it's obviously, it's really important to get your hashtags right. So you want to reach out to the right people. So in the context of, say, Jules, for instance, I mean, Ulla's been a massive fan of the brand. So initially she was just tagging them in pictures, using their hashtags, kind of knowing that they'll be picking up on these hashtags. And hey presto, a couple of months down the line, they sent her a message just on Instagram saying, we'd love to collaborate. Fantastic. I think it made her day.
Wow.
And we kind of just drew up a simple agreement in terms of, they wanted to promote their new range. So, that's going to cost us money. And we know that we're going to deliver them some fantastic content. And so, with that trip there, they just basically covered our hotel expense, our mileage, and then a bit of spending money for a bit of lunch. So that just, gave us the opportunity. So it's, if you are looking to go out and kind of, I mean, this is my advice from just, kind of working in the industry. I know that sort of photo shoots are incredibly expensive for brands. Sometimes I was doing photo shoots in my previous job where we would be spending £15,000 a day on photographers' fees, modelers' fees. So we're taking the approach that, between the four of us, that we can get some really nice shots of the sort of clothing in situ. And then hopefully down the line, then we'll soon be able to actually license those pictures to the actual brands themselves. So that's been our approach. So yeah, if you've got any of your listeners are looking to kind of reach out and work with a few more kind of clothing brands, for instance, then start actually showcasing your work, start putting out content, and actually if you love to work with that brand, as in the case of how kind of Ulla has approached it, start tagging them into the pictures, get yourself noticed, and they will come to you, and then obviously you're in a nice strong position to kind of negotiate something. But equally so as well. So we have actually looked to work with the actual end destinations themselves. Typically that what we found is we've been given more of a discount as well. So a percentage off for kind of featuring a certain hotel or place we've stayed as part of our collaboration.
So very much you've used your skill set, your wife being a good photographer and you doing the video to be able to offer a service in exchange for accommodation, travel expenses, and hopefully moving further down the line you are able to make some money off of licensing some of these pictures as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And the other thing as well with hotels, what's quite exciting. So my business, when I'm not traveling and actually have to earn a bit of money to pay for the mortgage, I provide 360 virtual tours. So the company's called the 360 View, and we basically help clients who struggle to communicate the quality of their facilities online by means of 360 walkthrough photography. So that lends itself quite nicely to kind of working with some hotels or accommodation providers by saying, well, actually, we can do kind of a video review, but we can also do a really cool 360 walkthrough tour.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So what are some of the fears or misconceptions that people might have about getting out there and traveling a little bit more, especially with a family as well?
So I mean, obviously with us, taking into account that we've got quite young kids, I mean, I think probably the big one is that they won't actually remember it. Like, I certainly don't remember what I was doing when I was 2 or 3. So I guess what's the point of actually traveling if they're not going to remember it? Which I think, brings out, I think that's one good kind of misconception. But like I keep reiterating, just back to that same point again before, that I think it brings out a lot of confidence in our kids. It shows that they can, I guess, adjust to their environment. And they may not can remember it, but I think all those pictures which Mummy's been taking, they'll certainly have a good spot to kind of like remember when they kind of get a bit older.
Yeah, definitely. My 12-year-old seems to have a memory that goes back really young. She can remember being in different places and remembering specific things about being 2 or 3. I think those memories last for a few years. As we get older, we might not remember them quite so well because we've got so many new memories, but they do certainly serve a purpose, and those learning experiences like you were talking about as they're growing. So, I think traveling is really important as a child.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess our children's generation is obviously now they've been brought up with social media. Like, they didn't know what life was like was when you got your holiday snaps, you had to go to the local chemist.
That's right.
Print it off. Like, we're obviously a generation where it's so easy to go see what you did like last month, last year, 2 years ago, because it pops up in your Facebook memories.
So what fears have you had to overcome yourself with traveling, especially to different countries where you didn't know the language? And do you see anything that your children have had to overcome as well?
I mean, I don't know about fear. So certainly when I solo traveling, I was backpacking, that I came across some pretty scary things, certainly whilst backpacking or driving to Mongolia. So I think I find now actually traveling as kind of a family, I feel a lot safer. We're not biking down the world's most dangerous road or driving across Kazakhstan. It definitely feels a lot safer now because obviously you're taking care of your kids. They're your first priority. But yeah, I mean, I think it's more just more fears. It's probably just traveling at odd times of the days, I think, with kids, and just hoping that they're not going to go into total meltdown because it's 2 a.m. and you've got to get to the airport. But generally, they've been brought up traveling, so they quite easily adjust to it.
And obviously, doing these things yourself, traveling, like you said, to Mongolia or the bike riding, you've kind of stretched that comfort zone. But has that comfort zone changed traveling with children?
Yeah, I think there's a definite contrast between what you'd put yourself through by yourself, and if you're taking 2 little people with you, what you'd expect them to do and see. But yeah, I mean, I think we will look to push the barriers, and actually we kept relatively safe at the moment. If you have a look at our last trips, it's been just based in Europe, but I think as we grow, as the kids become more sort of as they grow themselves. I mean, in a couple of weeks' time, we're heading off to Iceland, which is only going to be our biggest trip to date, and we've got 10 days in the camper van traveling around Iceland. And I think we'll be doing some more far-flung destinations. I'd love to see a bit more of Asia.
Mm-hmm.
It's so, like I said, as we're still growing, we've only been going since kind of June last year. So,
well, I can imagine Iceland. I haven't had the privilege of being there myself, but I could say that that is well set up to get some great pictures and some great content and video footage, as I'm sure every country has.
Exactly. The only thing is, we're going when I think there's going to be about 3 hours of darkness, and we're going to be obviously in a very confined space with 2 toddlers. So hopefully, yes, we will show you all the spectacular imagery which we're going to take, but we'll also show what it's like when it's, I don't know, 4 a.m. and it's light and the kids want to get up. We want to give that honest impression as well.
Yeah, I think that's very important to document as well. Sometimes you look at these Instagram feeds and Facebook pictures, and we see all the glamorous side of travel, but there is another raw and authentic side that we generally don't get to see. But it's definitely something that needs to be addressed.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, Ola was, we were kind of posting pictures of kind of meltdown mode. But that's what it is to travel. But that's what it is to be a parent. I think if you were to paint life in as a perfect thing, then you'd just be doing yourself a disservice, and you wouldn't be coming across as genuine kind of people.
Well, what do you think holds people back from traveling more, Ollie?
I mean, let's face it, it's kind of expense. It's like, I mean, we just had to book ourselves a rental car. We're going to Italy next week, and it's like, woof. It is, it's expense. That's obviously one big thing, and I think when people do look to travel, they look, especially with children, they may consider the safe option as well. I know we've tried it out before, but the nice safe resort, the hotel pool, the kind of the buffet, the food, everything's on your plate, and you can just stroll to the beach when you want. But it's a lot easier, I think, if you were to do that. But you just don't see the local culture, meet the local people. So Yeah.
Right, it's so much to see. One thing that I say about living over here in America is you go to any town in America and they pretty much all look the same. They've got the same streets lined with the fast food restaurants, and much is the same as these timeshares and hotels. You've got your basic stuff that you expect, but not until you actually get out and away from these kinds of places do you really get to see the country and explore just the nature and everything that they have to offer.
Absolutely, yeah. And it goes on to that point which we were talking about earlier on about, we're not full-time travelers, but it comes to a Saturday or a Sunday, you'll always find us out and about, finding something in our local area to do or discovering something new. Because certainly here in the UK, there's just so much you can do and discover, and from my perspective in America, so many people want to go to the UK. They want to visit London and all the old buildings because everything here is still relatively new. But living in the UK and being brought up in the UK, you just don't realize what you have in your backyard. So many people say to me, "Oh, Scotland's one of the most beautiful countries that I've been." I didn't really appreciate it until I moved over here because that was my backyard. Sometimes you just need to get out there and explore. Yeah, I know. Kind of each time I'm like, "Oh, never been here before," but you live I'm kind of discovering you live 20 minutes away from it. And I agree. And that's what the blog's helping us to do. And the Instagram account is helping us to discover more of the UK, which is fantastic. So so traveling, you can go off to some far-flung destination and be by a beautiful beach or kind of climb a mountain, but let's try and make the most of your family time, because by discovering something which is local to you and just doing some cool local adventures.
So you're planning, you got Italy, you're taking a tour of Italy with the car, you're heading to Iceland. Are there any other places in your mind that you really want to visit?
Yeah, so we've got quite a packed agenda this summer. So Italy for a week, and we're hiring a car and jumping on the sort of the train to kind of see some cool sites, see Florence, Bologna, Venice. Then what else have we got? So we've got 10 days around Iceland. We've got a trip down to Wales, to Pembrokeshire. That's what I'm really looking forward to. That's where I would always go as a child. Beautiful part of the world, Pembrokeshire. Great beaches, great dramatic coastline. Then where else? We're going to Austria as well. Austria in the summertime. So trying to actually see what the Alps are like. Kind of in the middle of the summer. Maybe do a bit of something from The Sound of Music, skipping along type stuff. I think that's the trips. We've got booked. But we're always looking to kind of get out and about and discover new places. And then hopefully maybe we can, I don't know, maybe in the future even turn it into kind of take a bit of sabbatical and actually do a bit of traveling for a couple of months at a time. Lots on the horizon, lots of opportunities.
Excellent. Well, it's definitely an adventure. There's a whole world out there to see, and we do want to encourage people to get out there and travel more, and we do that by sharing the content that we put out there. Ollie, if somebody wants to connect with you, what is the best way for them to do that?
So our main channel is our Instagram account. So have a search for Here We Go Again. Family travel blog. Hit us up on there. We're quite active, always looking to kind of connect as well with people. So if you want a bit of advice, jump on there. We'll make sure we answer your questions. We've also got a travel blog as well. So again, search for Here We Go Again travel blog, family travel blog. we're trying to get lots of kind of regular bits of content out there. And as well, we're just exploring doing a bit more now with Pinterest as well to kind of share our pictures. But yeah, like I said, main one's Instagram, but then you'll find out kind of all our other channels from there.
Well, excellent. I hope people will reach out and stay connected with you and follow you on your journeys. Ollie, if you have a final message that you'd like to leave with the listeners, what might that be?
Yeah, I mean, I think a final message. I think, so for us, traveling, it can be, like I keep saying, it can be to some far-flung destination, but hey, let's do more adventures, take your kids out. Time is so precious that even if it's a local micro adventure, just go out and just explore more. Really keen. Just trying to put your devices down, your phones down, and just get out in the countryside.
Yep, definitely. There's so much to see rather than staring at the phone or the computer. Get outside and enjoy that fresh air as well. Ollie, my final question, what book is it that you are reading now, or what is one of your favorite books and why?
Okay, so I mean, good question. So I'm just reading, nearly got to the end of it, is A Brief History of Humankind. The Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. And that's just blown my mind reading that book. Do you know it? It's by Yuval Noah. But yeah, it's a great book. It's all about kind of the humankind evolution. So
there's certainly a lot of content out there, some great books. I always like to just get into the head of what people are reading and how it's opened their mind, and especially those books that really have made a difference in their life and got them to get out there and travel as well. So thanks for sharing that one with us. Well, Ollie Kilvert, thank you very much again for being my guest on the No Matter podcast.
Excellent. Been an absolute pleasure.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
Thanks for listening to the No Matter podcast.
For more shows and resources, visit us at nohomenomatter.com and make sure to follow and subscribe.